I now request Honorary President Dr. V. Shankar to address the gathering.
It gives me great pleasure to be amidst you all this morning for an event that has been labeled and nomenclatured as Thanksgiving Abar Sabha. In the Anglican faith, thanksgiving and intercession are two integral aspects of the Christian faith. Thanksgiving is essentially for the foundation already laid. Intercession is prayer to the divine for ensuring that the foundation on which the supertenants come up through human endeavor also are successfully done. Thanksgiving is essentially for what has already been achieved. Intercession is prayer for the advancements in the future that human efforts will be directed at. The hand that holds the plough, if it moves backwards, is unfit for the kingdom of God, says the Bible. So once the hand holds the plough, it can only move forward because the land that has already been graced is not revisited again. This basic philosophy of thanksgiving and prayer are integral to any human being, not necessarily the Anglican faith that I referred to. Even this concept that is today part of the Christian faith has been borrowed from the Upanishads. The Upanishad says, Isavasyam idam sarvam yat kanchane jagatyam jagat. Whatever happens, wherever happens, is permeated by the same divine force. It is that blessed force, call it by any name. It is the convergence of all positive forces that have descended onto us this morning that has given us this blessed morning itself of thanksgiving. Any excuse for celebration is fine. Celebrations essentially are of two types. One is thanksgiving to the divine, and the second is to keep the past behind and move forward in life, knowing full well that this life is eternal. Friends, this life is like a Christmas tree, evergreen, fresh. No amount of snow or storm can weather its petals. So too is the human spirit. By its very nature, human spirit is celebration. Despite the clouds of adversity through which the human spirit passes in a person's life sojourn, it always emerges triumphant. But then, all celebrations in life, all partying in life is not celebration. Only if there is a purpose which is attached to it, then only it becomes a celebration. And it is then that the body, the mind and the soul are in sync with each other. Such a unison of thought and emotions we are experiencing this morning with all of you. The happenings in the SIES Graduate School of Technology and the achievements that have been credited to the school the later part of last year and the beginning of this year have gladdened our hearts and has brought cheer and enthusiasm to every stakeholder of the SIES Graduate School of Technology. At long last, there is a favorable and genuine belief that SIES GST has come of age and shall soon emerge as the preferred destination of choice for every seeker of knowledge in the field of technology and the engineering sciences. It would not be ere long before the SIES Graduate School of Technology is counted amongst the best in the field of engineering education in the country. The NAAC accreditation of the second cycle in A+ has been the trigger point, the influx that has brought in the tide of good things that have followed. The accreditation of the three frontline programs by the National Board of Accreditation testifies that NAAC assessment is not an error of judgment, that it is based on a very scientific evaluation of the activities and achievements of both the students and the teaching resources of this institution. The EOA, the extension of approval for the year 2024 granted by AICTE, is a further endorsement of these achievements which have now come into limelight. For the first time, the EOA has been granted for a period of 3 years, so that every year you don't apply for renewal of EOA. And the fact that most of the emerging sciences, the sciences of tomorrow, or which have already started today, they have seen an increase in enrollment. And the front ranking course that will guide the institution, artificial intelligence and data science, artificial intelligence and machine learning, computer engineering with cyber security, Internet of Things and blockchain technology, and the vanilla program of computer engineering by itself. All these things which are current and topical account for 63% of the total enrollment in SIES GST. And when you recognize the fact that at the entry point admission, you have 726 students to be admitted based on the sanction strength, including the lateral entry that you get in the second year. In a block of 4 years period, you have more than 3,000 students. By any standards, 3,000 is large enough for us to commit ourselves to provide the best value, not just for money, but for the prime time that these young seekers of knowledge invest at the youth of their life for 4 long years in this institution to come out as graduates in engineering. We have to energize ourselves first and then redouble our efforts as we add value to the student community. Quality is the key and the defining element of all human endeavors in the 21st century. When the Times All India Engineering Ranking Survey for the year 2024 came, I know it would have brought cheer to some of you, or to most of you, because for the first time, SIES GST is featuring in the list of institutions, leave alone the ranking. And having placed it at 48 within the first 50 institutions in the country would have gladdened your heart. And the fact that you are 45th amongst the private institutions on an all India basis would have brought double cheer to you. I think it would have taken you off the ground when the ranking said that you are the 12th in the state of Maharashtra. This Times survey is based on data survey, perception study, and analysis of what you submit. The leading lights of engineering education in this country do not participate in such surveys. And therefore, such surveys are essentially incomplete surveys, but then they carry a message. The message is that the perception is veering round to an understanding that these institutions can be seen for a student to pursue education. They by themselves will not decide whether he or his parents have to decide whether their career can be staked over here, but the perception is veering towards that. And therefore, it augurs very well that the SIES GST has featured within those ranking accreditations that have been given by Times NE. It has been the stated policy of our society that we do not recognize any private body assessments, accreditations, or rankings. At least now it has become better. 10 years before, they will rank you better and ask you for a full-page advertisement, even wherever you are releasing it. I think that is gone because the conflict of interest is very patent. They may ask you to give later. So that's the value there. But the message that comes out of that perception is that you are now visible. visibility brings responsibility. If you're not visible, nobody will know what you're doing. But the moment you have come within the radar of visibility of the educating community, the educated community, and the regulators of education, you have a great sense of responsibility in everything that you address. As I said, quality is the key and the defining element of all human endeavors in the 21st century. We are what we do repeatedly. Excellence then is an act and not an habit, said the Greek philosopher Aristotle. There is a predominant school of thought that quality is resource specific. Because you ask your heads, they will tell you, we need this infrastructure, we need all that, then we can give quality to you. But that's all partially true. Quality is essentially attitude centric. Unless there is a burning passion in your mind and there is a desire to go beyond the ordinary and to foster excellence in all that you want to do, then the outcome will be the highest standards of quality. And it is quality and quality alone that will distinguish you from the rest of the crowd. All that you have achieved in the last year, some of which have been placed over there, is certainly a accumulation of the coordinated efforts of all the stakeholders, the teaching, the non-teaching resources, under the leadership of the Principal Dr. Lakshmi Sudha and the sagacious and the wise counsel and the parental influence that Dr. P.V. Parmeshwaran had been able to exert on all of you during the course of your innings at SIES GST. The strength of an institution is far greater, far more greater than the cumulative strength of individuals who comprise that institution. So, if you aggregate all the strength of what we have, that strength will be more than that. It's not necessarily 1 + 1 is 2. It's far more than that. Because institutions have a tendency to grow beyond what is given as strength to them. You provide strength, double strength will come to that institution. Unity in your efforts, discipline in your conduct, coordinated and concerted action, and surrender and acceptance of the leadership are essential ingredients for the success of any institution. And that you all have demonstrated, that when there is harmony of action and there is no division or vociferous tendencies that divide the action, and currents and cross currents cloud that action, and there is no duplication of your efforts, the results are there for all of you to see. All these things escaped SIES GST for so many years. If they have come today, there is no magic wand that either of them possess or we possess that would have given you all this. We are able to see that wind of change and optimism in all of you that we can create an institution of standing. And that's what has come. But then, that's the beginning of a long journey. You've just started. You have to further close your ranks and present a solid flank of you and your institution before the society at large. And as you energize, enlighten, and empower children through the process of learning through curriculum and beyond the curriculum, please do not lose focus of the avowed mission of our society, that we should emerge as one of the most admired academic institutions in the country. There are around 8,876 engineering institutions in the country. The clock is ticking like the Indian population. It will expand by the second, by the minute, by the hour, and by the day. 6,611 institutions or in the private sector. So bulk of education in engineering, for the matter in all streams of study, has not been the responsibility of the government except in elementary and primary education, and it always vested in private noble hands to deliver value through that education, whichever they pursue and elect to pursue. We turn out on an average 1.5 million graduates in engineering every year. For the number of institutions in engineering and the amount of graduates who have been turned out since independence by this country and continues to do so at this rate of 1.5 million that I spoke about, India is the topmost country as far as this statistics is concerned. Nowhere in the world anybody comes even a shade closer to these quantitative elements that are part of the engineering education of India. Don't gloat over this. 80% of the engineering graduates are unemployable. They are unfit for employment because they do not possess the technological skills that are required and are desired by the industry. There is a wide gap between the type of specialization that they have been certified as having acquired and the one that is needed on the ground, both in the workshops and the marketplace. They are at variance with each other. 2 months, I think it's now 2-3 months before, Niti Aayog brought out one approach paper which I had read. It said 48% of the engineering graduates are indeed unemployed. If 80% is not employable, 48% are unemployed, then 32% are either underemployed or are employed in fields which are entirely unrelated to the academic qualification that they have acquired, spending 4 years of their youth and then getting into services which have no relation to whatever they have gathered. It is the lack of the foundational knowledge of basic elements like calculus, physics, chemistry, complex mathematical equations, and above all, a passion for problem solving. Problem creators are plenty in this universe. Problem solving essentially in engineering is fundamental because engineering provides challenges. If not addressed, the next step will not go on. These are missing in engineering education, and that is why you find this state of affairs that's prevailing in our country. So what is the panacea for the ills that we are facing? If you were to ask any ordinary layman on the street, he will say, change the syllabus, make it contemporary to the needs of industry, which is relevant to nation building. Then you will get people who will be equal to the task. I think that's one of the main ingredients of transformation in engineering education that is required, that the syllabus should be current. It should be in tune with the reality of the day. And if you were to be affiliated to a mother university like Mumbai University, it becomes a wishful dream. Because by the time they start the process of changing the syllabus, the next changes would have already come. And whatever you borrow and implement will be outdated. Fortunately for us, at least the SIES University is on the cards. You will see the light of the day soon. That will provide the necessary flexibility and the ability to navigate through the course curriculum and deliver unto the students ones that will make a difference and make them fit for this country. So that's one good thing that's happening. The second thing is, most of the emerging sciences that we look as the sunrise of tomorrow, fortunately, thanks to their understanding, in the last few years, we've started those courses, as I said, about artificial intelligence, locked with various electives which are the full gamut of the new emerging technology across the horizon. They've all come. But as I speak about it, Parmeshwar was saying, I am not getting faculty. Faculty will not come to you. Nobody. If a teacher can be seen only when the taught is ready. No teacher is made. The thoughts have to be readied. Thoughts are already ready because students want all these electives because they will employ them according to them or they will give them a difference which other electives will not give. But then we have to look at what we have done to guarantee ourselves that when we start investing in technologies which are current and futuristic, they will deliver good for the students. The last available data again of ACT is 2021. 47,836 students out of this 1.5 million that I spoke about who pass out have passed out of mechanical engineering. Mechanical engineering is the most versatile of all engineerings because it provides the design, the analysis, the manufacturing of all mechanical systems that run any country. So when you see that so many students are passing out of mechanical engineering, we are unable to attract even 60 students at the entry point to survive the program and then grow the program. This is after so many years of having invested and consolidated in mechanical engineering. Nobody likes closing a program. People like adding a program. So there is a need for soul searching. That we have to go inwards and find out where is that missing gap in mechanical engineering, and we have already taken steps to close mechanical engineering. And it's now the second or the third year running, I don't know, where it's being on the roller coaster for completion. But to the few teachers who are left over, there is still a chance for you to document why we failed so that this won't happen in some other courses and affect a stream of people who are interested in pursuing that elective which we had closed down. I have said this basically because what is it that we want to do as we go ahead in life? We have to prepare ourselves first to this reality and condition ourselves to the fact that we will justify every penny that is being invested, every second that we all give for growing that elective. Then things like what happened in mechanical engineering will not happen. When you see, take a microscope and go further into the Times survey, you will know how incongruous an assessment can be when you are placed 13th, 1-3 on an all-India ranking on research capability. If by any standards of honesty that we possess and we should possess, we could realize that whosoever sat down and prepared the ranking has grossly gone out of the reality. Because how many prototypes we have created through the students, how many have graduated to pilot scale or even lab scale, and how many have gone beyond it to commercial scales to come to the marketplace. Leave alone these. How many tech apps have we created, either through the students or collaborative effort of both the students and the teachers, that they have seen the light of the day and brought about ease of living for the common masses or applications which are catalytic as far as manufacturing or the service industry is concerned. We then realize that there is a very big gap between perception and reality, even in the rankings that are being given. Now, would you therefore sit back and say, mil gaya to mil gaya, le lo? No, that's not the case. I think they have already certified you in advance because they probably believe that you should reach that level. And how do we reach that level? Fortunately for you again here, the SIES Incubation Center has already started functioning. It is in active collaboration with CAIE of the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. Talent search across the campuses of both the existing students and the alumni has started. There is a reasonable chance of this process identifying talent across the campuses of the society who have these entrepreneurial skills in them and whose idea the time has already come. I'm sure as SIS Incubation Center spreads its wings and comes into institutions, several of the students will be motivated who have this burning desire not to be a job seeker but a job creator, that they would demonstrate convincingly through their attitude that they are cut for converting their ideas into startups and startups into large-scale industry and services. And if that you were to do, you will find that the student community, all roads will lead only to SIS GST. Because ultimately, this country will develop only when there are more job creators than job seekers. And if they know that this institution is a fertile ground for honing our skills as students and develop basics that will make us proud to be people having our own businesses or industries, they will come for education over here. So I'm sure you will take full advantage of the incubation center's activities as it comes deep to all of you. In this mushrooming of engineering educational institutions across the landscape of this country, and the duds that are being thrown out of the system every year at the rate of 1.5 million per year, what is it that we can do that will stand us apart from the rest of the crowd, far from the madding crowd, and yet be within it, said Rudyard Kipling. You will be within this universe, and yet you have to be noticed, yet you have to be visible, yet you should become a point of attraction for the student community. And that can be done only when you align your priorities, your mission with what is required by the country. And that's the reason why I had put one over there on artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is everywhere. It embraces almost all aspects of human life. We have gone to a point to say to live without artificial intelligence in another 10 years from now may be a pipe dream. It has such penetrating deep influence, both positive and negative, that leave the deep fakes. I think we'll find a solution to deep fakes, but the deep influence it has in the core sectors of the economy like healthcare, educational sector, are to be seen to be believed. When you look at the role of artificial intelligence in the healthcare sector, the predicator factor of AI to exactly predict whether a person, a patient, is prone to a particular disease at some point of time in his lifetime is fairly accurate. And once you know that the person is liable for such a disease at some time, AI can provide a customized healthcare solution that will, one, nip the disease when it starts coming in, nip it in the bud itself, and second, arrest its further growth, and third, provide a prescription over lifetime which balances all other elements of the body, and therefore it expands life expectancy. Longevity comes. AI is far, far better than the technology that was brought in at the early part of the 21st century, cloning. Cloning, they said, will make a man live 120 years. And then the ethics of it was discussed. But AI is an application technology. Therefore, nobody can stop it. It will be used. Either face it and adopt it or perish without knowing it. In the educational sector, AI can exactly determine the aptitude of a young child. It can package an educational program based on the IQ of the child, the rate at which he will understand and absorb whatever is being taught, and make him educated within the span of time that he or she is oriented to take. AI's influence on pharmacy prescription, clinical genomics, and molecular discovery of drugs is too well known. Today, if you want to work on discovery of molecules, the new products that come to answer the various ailments that we take because we fight nature, left, right, and center we destroy nature, therefore nature gives back to us the various forms of diseases. Even take, for example, the world's mad rush to get a treatment for cancer. Nothing from now onwards is possible without AI. So molecular discovery rapidly will change, and in the yesteryears, you required tons and tons of money and 20, 30 long years before a drug can be discovered. That is an era of the past. Today, the probability of hitting on a drug for a particular ailment through AI is very fast. Fortunately for us, when AI is developed, several verticals can come from AI. AI is not an engineering science by itself. AI and pharmaceuticals, as I told you, AI and educational sector, AI and pharmaceuticals is the biggest. And right now, in another 1 month's time, the SIES School of Pharmacy will see the light of the day. And right at the beginning, we will have AI-induced pharmaceutical molecular discovery. In fact, we'll be probably the only institution, at least in Mumbai as I can see, which will have a drug development laboratory and a pharmacy museum, both of which will have a large component of AI, which will get into it. So AI is indeed the future of mankind. And if it's the future of mankind, it's the future of this institution also. And if you are to be away from the crowd and present yourself distinct and different, you need to act very fast as far as AI technology, AI applications across your educational systems are concerned. We as management are too well committed to AI because there is no other prescription that we know or understand that will enable us to grow faster. So in the SIES Graduate School of Technology, our society will invest in the coming 2 years 100 million rupees for AI infrastructure. It is to create state-of-art laboratories, application packages, and of course, empower and encourage the students. And as he said, where is the driver? The vehicle is there. We need a driver to drive that vehicle. So we will create chairs. AI professors will create chairs, pay them far more than what the market can even think of, and give them the steering to take AI forward. That by itself is only one part of the solution, but it will require all of you, without exception, to work together. And first, in your mind, that engineering without AI is meaningless, can be dusted and thrown out. So how can we help to create a center of excellence for artificial intelligence that will be the cynosure of all eyes, that will be the envy of competition, that will be the free passage for students to come to us. So we have to work very hard in the coming 2 years, might be even earlier than that, but it's too difficult to create a center of excellence in artificial intelligence. that will require all of you to gird up your loins and shirk the inertia that envelops us momentarily in our life journey and address ourselves with single mission to creating an institution of excellence in artificial intelligence. I can then tell you SISGST will grow faster than the fastest and will be rapidly seen and emerging as the institute. All of this have already started, so we are in fact behind. Early birds always get an advantage, but the ones that have started are all national institutions. So we need not worry about it. Even if we start today, we can make a difference. I believe that our capabilities are good to even woodwing and keep aside governmental investments in AI, that we can march forward. So that was the message that I wanted to give you today, that if you want to stay relevant, if you want to take pride in saying that I am a teacher of this institution or I am a student of this institution, first the institution should be good enough. Otherwise you will say, I work in a college somewhere near Nerul, because you will not say the name of the institution. So you need pride for your institution before that pride can come to you. Today is the World Environment Day. The 5th of June is the day when at least one day in a year, I think we don't destroy the environment and we promote equitable and sustained development. Sustainable development across all parameters of living are based on, one, clean manufacturing processes. Number two, sound non-polluting mechanical systems. Therefore, whatever we teach here, whether it is hard element engineering courses, but like mechanical, which has already gone away, that's the one which is a good candidate for teaching sustainable development. In anything that we teach our students, give them the destroying the environment and creating ease of living is momentary. So let's take a further commitment to improve on our programs, because once you become an university, you get the chance to overhaul your syllabus. But in that syllabus, the cross current, the one that runs across the syllabus, should be sustainable development and equitable growth across all beings, men, animals, all put together. So that's another thing that's of great importance to you. I have given enough of what I think can take this institution forward. But then stakeholder necessities have to be aligned, because all of us should see in the same direction. If even one or two were to distract and move away from the path, the consequences are the cumulative energies, the synergies that come out of it are far lower. We are aware of the fact that the teaching resources that are available in the field of engineering are slowly shrinking, because the opportunities are growing in the emerging sciences, in the job markets. And those days, if we were to say that teaching is the refuge of the scoundrel, that is gone for good. Teaching is a science, an art, a profession with great nobility is no longer there. That we accept. And therefore, when the teaching resources are scarce, you find the poaching as inevitable to the availability of resources. So, whenever I meet Professor Parmeshwaran, the first thing he will say, they are all taking teachers away. Teachers who have been with us for 3 years, 5 years, doing well, whose communications are very good, they are being poached away because they are being offered something far more than what we are offering. Equally so, the entry point teaching staff who come into the institution, he says that we cannot attract the best talent because they feel there is somebody else who is paying more, and the scales of pay, the 6th pay, the 7th pay does not attract them. And I think we are conscious of the fact that you come here first to unload all that you have learnt, so that future generation of students benefit from your scholarship and your knowledge. The second most important thing is You come here because you have a family to take care. You come here so that you carry home enough that will maintain the family, and the children that are there will aspire like any other student sooner or later. We shall certainly align your pace to what is closest to similar institutions. There are certain incomparable institutions promoted by industry cannot be compared because they are an adjunct to the industry. But public institutions like ours, we will soon align your pace to what is fair, comparable to others, and that shall be retrospective from 1st of June. So you get a bonus of 5 days, even though I am speaking to you on 5th of June, as and when the studies are completed and they come back. And that, one of the key elements that we have taken in guiding the principles of remuneration is to keep the engineering college and the schools of businesses away from undergraduate programs. They are no longer comparable because here it is based on the capacity to pay and bring talent. There it is based on the scales of pay. And therefore, these two institutions, we shall evolve a more flexible remuneration plan that shall be tailor-made to the talent available and the capacity, the experience that the teacher has to give. So you can be rest assured that as much as I have unloaded enough expectations from all of you in the emerging SIES Graduate School of Technology, we shall also fulfill our commitments beyond the infrastructure, beyond all the facilities that will promote good learning over here, to address the issues of pay parity with commensurate institutions. I started this morning, I don't know when I stood here, normally I don't get to other faiths because it's natural for me to start with Upanishads or the Vedas, but today I started with that, with the Anglican faith. I think let me conclude with the Anglican faith itself. Francis de Assisi, one of the most renowned parishioners, person of great knowledge and wisdom, once said, "Start by doing all that is necessary and then do all that is possible. Sooner you will realize that you are doing the impossible." So that's a message for the morning. All the best to you. Let's all work towards making SIES Graduate School of Technology and the parent society one of the most admired academic institutions in the country. Thank you and God bless. I have some more time, I have not completed. I need those people to give 2 presentations. Once again. Now, this is an Israeli scientist. SIES message on artificial intelligence. Then you will get the full impact of what he says. No, this is a very short one. Go ahead and play. Itself.
First is that AI is the first tool in history that can make decisions by itself. All previous tools in history couldn't make decisions. This is why they empowered us. You invent a knife, you invent an atom bomb. The atom bomb cannot decide to start a war, cannot decide which city to bomb. AI can make decisions by itself. And autonomous weapon systems can decide by themselves who to kill, who to bomb. The second thing is that AI is the first tool in history that can create new ideas by itself. The printing press could print our ideas, but could not create new ideas. AI can create new ideas entirely by itself. This is unprecedented. Therefore, it is the first technology in history that instead of giving power to humans, it takes power away from us. And the danger is that it will increasingly take more and more power from us until we are left helpless and clueless about what is happening in the world.
So the message that he gives is very clear, that if this is inevitable, embrace it, work along with it, and one day you will find a solution that will bring back power to you and take it away from that AI. Next. That's also a very short one. This is the latest study of McKinsey on AI emerging trends. AI will shake up the job markets by 2030. Only 5 years from now, you will see that the entire market would have undergone a change. 12 million occupational transitions by 2030. 1.2 crore of the workforce will have to move from whatever they are doing today to do something else that AI will throw up for you. 30% of the human task will adapt to AI technology changes by 2030. 1/3 of what you do at home, at job, elsewhere in public, AI will drive it at least 1/3 of that. AI advancements will lead to surge in healthcare that I already spoke. And this I didn't address completely because it will take a lot of time. And STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, how all the four of them will be driven by AI. Next. Majority of jobs that will be adversely affected, badly affected will be one, administrative assistants, clerks, officers, customer services and sales. Today they are app driven, Swiggy's, Ola's. Today's world, they will all go away. Food services that are being delivered and distributed, production and manufacturing, all these will be greatly affected by AI. And just 5 years from now. Support for educators, from educators is crucial in facilitating a successful transition. The world will go into a depression if educators are not there to give the impact of AI and the ability for people to change themselves to the AI gear. So these 5 years in educators across the globe have a great responsibility of preparing for a world with AI. AI has taken over the social media platforms completely. Deep fakes are only the first signs that you are seeing. Many more things you will see as you travel along, all negative. With AI, machines will think, because AI thinks, as he correctly said, learn and act the same way as humans do, blurring the line between organic and machine intelligence. Till yesterday we said our brains are more potent than the machine intelligence. And now the machine learning's dominance is that the machine seems to be on par with that of the human brain. Now this is the need for AI and the Center for Excellence, because in 5 years' time, if you do what you are doing today, you will go out of the scene. It is not that you will remain as one more institution. You will find the rest of the institutions would have redefined themselves and adapted to the changes that are coming. I made it short only to tell you, it's not to induce fear in you, to induce reality in you that the world is changing.